Hey everybody, welcome back to Don't Be Boring by YM Resource. My name's Bruce. You know, identity is a huge thing that our teens are always trying to figure out. They're always struggling with it. And it happens to be one of my favorite topics to talk to teens about because they're always asking, who am I? Who am I supposed to be? How do I figure this out? These are all questions that our teens are asking themselves. And if we can continue to point them to the Lord as a source of their identity, rather than what they participate in or what they like, it's going to help them so much. So here are 3 YouTube clips that you can use to get that dialogue going about identity. All right, number 1. Our first clip comes to us from the movie The Man in the Iron Mask. This is a story that takes place in the early 1600s in that romantic time period of the Three Musketeers and no indoor plumbing. Now, the king, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, was fearful that his twin brother, who is also played by Leo, go figure, would try to take over the kingdom. And so he had his own twin placed in prison and fashioned with this iron mask so that no one would see his face. Upon discovering his existence, 4 musketeers, not 3, but 4, are determined to do a little switcheroo in order to rescue the long-lost twin from prison, and then release him from the mask that has concealed his true identity for years. It's a powerful scene when he sees his face for the first time in forever.
First time in forever.
Different movie. And we see the reaction of his saviors. You can follow this up with questions like, what are the masks we place on ourselves to hide our identity? What would it take for us to remove that mask? And how is our Lord like the musketeers in saving us from our identity imprisonment? You can reference passages like 1 Corinthians 1:30 and 1 Corinthians 6:11 and Colossians chapter 2 verses 6 through 12 as you talk about how our identity lies within Christ. All right, number 2. The second YouTube clip you can use in regards to identity is from the movie Hook. In the movie Hook, we have a lawyer named Peter Panning, who is played by the late, great Robin Williams. And this Peter Panning is in reality the famous Peter Pan, but he's all grown up. And in growing up away from Never Never Land, he has forgotten who he is. And because the villainous Captain Hook has captured and kidnapped Peter's son and daughter, it's up to the Lost Boys to help him regain his memory and identity as the Pan. You can follow this up with questions like, what kinds of things keep us from seeing how we are God's children? And what was it that caused Peter to remember who he was? Spoiler alert, it was his son. So you can follow up another question with, how can the Son help us regain our identities? Passages like Genesis 1:26 through 27 or Colossians 3:9 through 10 can be used alongside this fun clip. Number 3. All right, our third YouTube clip that you can use for a lesson or discussion on identity comes to us from Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. In this origin story about Batman, we see a young Bruce Wayne struggling to live 2 very different lives. In fact, in order to hide his true identity as the Dark Knight, he puts on a show of a spoiled rich kid. But when he encounters a childhood love interest and friend, he tells her what she sees is not really who he is. Her response is awesome, and it reminds us that we can try to fool people, but how we choose to live is a product of who we are. You can ask questions like, have you ever felt like you needed to hide who you really are? Or have you ever felt like you wanted to hide that you believe in God? You could also ask, how can our choices reveal what's in our hearts? Passages like Matthew 15:18 or Luke 6:45 or Psalm 31 verses 23 through 24 will work well with this clip. All right, there you have it. 3 YouTube clips that you can use for a lesson or discussion on identity. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel as we're going to send out an exclusive bonus lesson to the first 20 subscribers. And we'll run other various promos from time to time. Until then, remember, the worst thing we can do is bore kids with the Bible. So don't be boring.